All right, what's up? What's up? How's everybody doing? We are back for another episode of Chop It Up Tuesday here at Local Musicians XP. And we are waiting for our special guest. I gave him the late. I wanted him to give him the guest treatment because he's the guest tonight. So I said, man, why don't you come in a little bit late? Come in fashionably late. And no, I'm just kidding. He stuck in traffic or something. No, I don't know. He'll be here in a second, but we're gonna go ahead and get the party started. As a Notre Dame fan, I am not in a good mood right now, but there are more important things than football. We're not gonna start no business because I know I'm in SEC country. We already had it out. We've been going at it. I'm gonna let y'all have this one. We got some problems, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna let y'all have it this year. I don't want no problems. Don't pull up. I don't want any. I want to make it through. We're in the holiday season. We're gonna be nice. We're gonna be nice. Now I know that's not gonna last because I got some good friends that are having a real good time right now with me. But that's okay. That's okay. It's expected. It's expected. I can take it. But anyway, thank you for joining us. And we are here to celebrate a very special occasion. And that is my brother has finished his doctoral studies. He is now certified. Well, I don't know if he's I don't know if he gets do they get a certificate? I guess he'll get his degree. I don't know. You know how they be late with the degree and stuff. You get the degree, but then they hold off on sending you everything. So we'll find out when that's coming. But yesterday was a nice little, I don't know what you would call it. It was a dissertation. I almost said like a ceremony because he had an audience and there were some people there that had never seen an audience at a dissertation before. So that was actually quite funny because people were kind of like wondering like why is there people here? So but that was cool. It's just about who you know, man. And he definitely advertised it as a party, so we went to the party. So I think we put pressure on the committee, which is what I wish would have happened with the college football committee. But hey, man, I'm not talking about college football tonight. We are here to celebrate my brother who will be here shortly and talk about all the good things. But we're going to learn a little bit about the process. I know that I've had friends who have attempted to start the doctoral journey and they're like, nah, man, this ain't for me. So we're gonna learn about it. I think it takes a rare breed. That's why not everybody does it. So we're gonna learn about the process, and he's gonna talk you through some of the journey. We got a lot of congratulations out here. We're gonna show some of these comments. What's up, Chappie? How you doing, man? I hadn't seen you in a minute. Hope you're good. We're gonna go through some of these. We got a lot of congratulations, Eric Fontaine. We got Pod Horrors are talking about there's a doctor in the house. So yeah, man. So we got a lot of cool stuff that's going on here. So let's see here. I'm gonna delete some stuff here. So let's go ahead and get this party kind of started here. What's up, Rich? How you doing? Hope you're good. Saw you last night. And yeah, man. And while we are waiting, we got a comment in here. Yeah, man. How you doing, Michael? We do Want to give a shout out, man, to our departed brother Bill Norman, who passed away um, recently, and we want to send definitely condolences to all his friends and his family. And Bill was just a cool dude. Uh, Definitely just a I met Bill. I think just at one of the sessions. He used to run I think a session at Cafe 290. That was before I got here. But he was definitely a great cat. We want to send all the condolences out to him and his family, and nothing but great memories of Bill Norman, man. Bill Norman was one of those guys. He always had something to say, and it was always positive. Very inquisitive cat, man. He always was asking a lot of questions, and just somebody that was super, super, super cool. Good drummer, would always and was very generous too, man. To say that, man, Bill was a super generous cat. So condolences out to him and his family, and or his family and his friends, and yeah, man, Bill will be missed. So other than that, we have been in the midst of Christmas concerts and just doing a lot of shows. So our schedule is a little bit erratic through December, but we're going to try to maybe since T is going to be on vacation, we'll just try to get some schedule. Maybe we'll do some different days, but I know Tuesday nights are going to be kind of tough here from here on out through the end of the season. So then we'll be back to our regular schedule coming up here in January. So, but the Christmas shows are going great. Been doing a lot of stuff with Joe Granston. We got a show coming up. We'll be in Charlotte on Saturday, and then we have one at the Avondale Theater. That's actually Sunday, so that's open to the public. And at the Avondale, I think it's called the Avon Theater. Is that right, Brian? Is that what that is? So that's happening. That's happening Sunday, and so we will look forward to that. And it's great to see everybody at the dissertation yesterday. Saw a lot of friends that were there. Robert Boone, Kelly McCarty, Lori Williams was all there. Lava High was there. Rich was there. Brian Falgout was there. Let me see. I'm blank. Billy Ross was there, bass player, and Ron Smith was there. I'm trying to just kind of remember everybody. But we had a nice little gathering, man. And then of course the committee and Dr. Vernick and Dr. Norgard, and then a couple people that I didn't know. So but it was great to meet everybody. And we were just talking about, man, you turned that into a party yesterday, dude.
Man, it was cool, man.
You transformed it.
It was really good. They said it was the most they ever had. Because people kept coming in, man.
In the immortal words of our friend Gordon Vernick, Dr. Gordon Vernick, I don't remember an audience at a dissertation before.
You know,
so he was a little mystified. You got one up on him.
Oh man, yeah.
You got one up on him, man. So you got a lot of congrats, Naz. How you doing? Haven't seen Naz in a minute.
Naz, what's happening?
So as we just running through some of these congrats. Let's see here.
Really cool.
So got a few people in here, man. We're gonna just run through and
Falguzi
talk.
Was in the house, man.
Yeah. I mentioned the Falgout, and in honor of my New Orleans brothers,
Some
I made me
community
some
coffee.
CDM for tonight. CDM. Got
Wow,
CDM.
CDM. Yeah,
Great
yeah.
thing about CDM, man, very low in caffeine, so you can kind of drink it at night and it doesn't, you know, doesn't
Nice.
take you there. You know what I mean? So
Is that chicory and
yes,
yeah,
yes,
okay,
it's a
chicory, okay.
chicory. Yep, the chicory.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's super low in caffeine. Very good. But so yeah, man. So we're gonna just kind of get to it, and I want to kind of ask you some questions. And now that you've finished,
Shankland?
and
Oh, Shankland, yeah.
it's been I mean, I guess for lack of a better word, it's definitely been a journey. But
Right.
how I'm trying to just remember like when you started this, because I remember you talking, because you kind of just came out of the blue. You like, man, I'm doing my doctorate. I was like, what? So what made you say, man, stuff I want to do, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Now,
Yeah.
those words have been spoken many times, right? Like we have
They have.
friends who was,
Yes.
and they started, and it's like, nah, chief. This
Yes. Yeah. I know for a fact, bro.
all right.
So
So
go
let's
ahead.
start with the. So let's start. I just want to start even before you start. When did you even start contemplating that you were going to do it?
Uh I don't think I did. I think it's definitely a younger person's game once you realize what it is. But I don't think I was thinking about that at the time. I just had been so busy with life stuff that I had to weigh in the pros and cons of getting it. And I was like, when would I have time to do it? I'm performing all the time. I'm teaching. And so that was never really on the radar. Now I've had people speak into my life and say, yeah, you're going to, when I got my master's degree, yeah, keep going, get the doctorate. I'm like, nah, I don't have time for that. Yeah.
Right.
So and then I ask myself, well, what am I going to do with it when I get it? It's one of those degrees that once you get it, then you're like, oh shoot, now what's next? Then you have to chase the program, right? And so oftentimes when you get an advanced degree like this, you're like, okay, the next thing is to do research or to teach at a university system, and what is going to open up. And Atlanta right now is my creative base. So if it's my creative base, do I want to pursue that, or do I want to make a living doing what I do here? So it never was on the radar from that standpoint where I was like, from a holistic point of view, said this is what I want to do and I'm going to get it. So
Okay.
it wasn't on my purview.
So when it started when you started to really think about, I'm sure you had your reasons, right? You had to kind of go through and weigh, first of all, what am I going to, just like you were talking about, what am I going to do? What
Right.
would I even do with this? But when you finally made the decision to go ahead and start moving forward, um, did you, I'm sure you had, got some advice maybe from some other people that you knew that went through uh the process, and then you finally said, okay, man, I'm going to do this. So
Well, it's a
um
real funny story how this even got started. So I remember like it was the other day. So 2020 in March, I had some gigs set up, and I have some friends from New Orleans. Mardi Gras happened, and everybody started getting sick, and people started dying. We're like, man, what is going on? And we found out that Mardi Gras, all people came from all over the world, and people in New Orleans started getting COVID and get sick. And all of a sudden, we're like, well, all we got to do is just kind of stay inside. Everything's going to be all right. Then March, we found out people, particularly older people, were dying because of COVID, right? And we're like, what is going on? The first gig I had was at a older community, right?
mhm.
And that gig got canceled. And I was like, okay, well, how long is this going to last? Well, the next thing happened with everything we do is with an audience, right? Well, our gigs dried up like that. And what people don't really know is that um, our stuff is contingent, is seasonal, you know. So if you're not planning for weddings in April, May, and June and July, that work is gone. And the only thing I had going for me was that I was teaching at Kennesaw, and then the summer hit, and I no gigs. I'm out during those 3 months. There's no income coming in. So man, thank God I had like that little studio, that I could do stuff. I was doing tracks with people, and the video thing was getting real big. So
Mhm.
um, so we made it through that portion, and in late 2020, maybe around November, we started going out a little bit again, but it had to be social distancing gigs and stuff like that. So I run into Dr. Nargard. Dr. Nargard is also a violinist as well. And I see him and he says, "Hey, man, how's it going?" I was like, "Man, I'm so glad school started back up." It made me realize that having to be able to teach, well, I didn't have to go, try something else. So
Mhm.
he says, "Man, this might be a good time to work on your doctorate." So I said, "Man, I don't know. I haven't done collegiate math in a long time. I got to take this GRE test." I was like, "It might be cool, but I would have to take the GRE test." He's like, "Actually, they waived testing because of COVID. You can't do any standardized testing. You'd be in a room with people, so they waived it. First time ever."
Nice. Nice.
I said, "Okay." So he said, "So you can apply." I said, "Well, where's the deadline?" He said, 2 weeks. I said, 2 weeks. I looked at the application. I had to have 3 or 4 reference letters. I had to fill out this application, write all this stuff. I did that. I filled it out, and next thing I know, I got accepted. I was like,
Wow. Uh-oh. I think we have a frozen doctor. All right, we'll get him back on. And I hope it ain't my internet. Nope. Just checking. All right, so Tyrone froze. We'll get it back on in a second, but it's interesting what he said about
there we go.
oh, there you go. Okay, you back?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
there you
So
go.
I didn't want to take out a loan, so I said, "Well, how am I going to pay for the school stuff, right?" So then a friend of mine told me, he's like, "There's a program at Kennesaw. As long as you go to another USG system school, like UGA or GSU or Columbus State, they'll pay for your tuition." I said, "What?" So submitted the paperwork for that. I got approved. And next thing you know, I'm in school. I was like, "What is going on?" I was like, "How did this
Wow.
materialize so quick?" So, and then after that year was over with, I was already in. We were on in online classes. And the funny thing, to your other point, is I talk to people because to this day you don't really know what it is, right? Like I can ask you right now, Chris, what is a doctorate degree in philosophy? And no, it's
I
like nobody tells
don't
you.
know. I didn't. I mean, there were some
Right,
things I learned yesterday, you know,
right, right.
but
So
yeah, I have
I'm going
no
into the
idea.
thing blindly. I'm asking people who have actual doctorate degrees, and it's like our good friend Kina Boto. You find out. That's just the way it was. Like you'll find out what it is. I'm like, can you help me?
I
Not
remember
really.
you telling. I remember you telling me some of the stories. Now that you mentioned that
Right,
about
right,
conversations that you were having, and how nobody could really explain to you like
right,
what what was about to happen. You know.
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Thomas. Shout out to one of my cohorts in the program, Thomas Chafin. Yeah, appreciate it, bro. So yeah,
Yeah.
so I went in blind, man, and then you know when we talked about imposter syndrome, what
Mm-hmm.
about 2 months ago, whatever. It's not.
And
It's
last
no
and
more
last night.
real. And last night, it's no more real when you get into college and somebody says, "Hey, write a 20-page paper and present it in class," and you're like, "Okay, I haven't done this before." It's like you're the expert. I'm like, "I'm the expert," and you go there to talk in front of everybody. They want to ask you questions. That imposter syndrome is real. You're like, I gotta fake it to seem like I'm the expert, and then they're gonna ask me questions and rebuttals, and it's based on research. And the hardest thing to say is, I don't know, because you want to say something that's going to make you seem smart or seem intelligent, but everybody's in the same place. And we all should be saying, I don't know. Let me do
Mm-hmm.
some research, or can you help me, whatever, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
the advantage I had going into it is, I'm not saying this with any cockiness or anything like that. I'm a master musician. I know how to play the piano and I know music theory. That's my strong point. So critiques that I have about writing and stuff like that, that's not my strongest suit. So I don't have to feel bad about that. But not anybody over there can out theorize me or outplay me in jazz piano, whatever. I'm confident in those skills, and that's what I know I'm
Right.
good in. So I don't have to be an imposter about that. That's what I do. So all the other
Right.
stuff I look at is like, okay, I'm learning, and so I have no ego when it comes to that. Now they beat you up pretty good with your writing and stuff like that. I felt like I couldn't write a children's book, bro. It was just like it was that intense.
Right.
But even in that, you got to realize that words have meaning to it, and the
Mm-hmm.
syntax of words can have inferred meaning. So you got to be real careful how you say something. I was talking to Roberta about this. If I
Right.
said um, uh, Hargrave 1984 says that bacon is a good condiment for a chicken sandwich. Well, what's the problem in that sentence? I use the present tense says for
Mm.
Hargrave 1984 because Hargrave might have written another book in 2005 that says I now hate bacon and bacon is not good at all, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so by me
Mm-hmm.
saying says, that doesn't give Hargrave any room to grow in his research at all. So if I have to say said, I have to say past tense that Hargrave's not just those little
Mm-hmm.
kind of situations
Mm-hmm.
that you realize, wow, every word in language or what you write or say matters.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
Mm-hmm.
really difficult to try to think.
Right. Right. Um, well, as you sort of start, because I guess there's, you know, steps to everything.
Yeah.
So, and you also talked about, I remember you said to me one time, you were like, man, they got me jumping through hoops for everything. Once I
Yeah.
get through one, they got another one waiting that's smaller, and you just trying to get through. So,
Yeah.
but I guess that's the process because they if it was easy, everybody would do it. It's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
being a musician or being a plumber or anything. It's like if it was
Right.
easy, um, but so once you start to get into the flow of it,
Mm-hmm.
what were some of the, I mean, were there ever times where your mind was just like, man, I don't think I'm going to make it. How many times how much did that creep up for you?
Oh,
Yeah.
a lot, because so you have to choose a methodology. Now, this is the crazy thing. When you come in, you have to choose what track you're going to take. Quantitative methodology, which is a statistical, quantifiable data, right? It's
Okay.
numerical. I can measure from that. Then qualitative is not really measurable, but it's from experience and observable situations, right? So here's the example, and this happens all the time. We just don't know it. So let's say you have a politician running for office, and they say they read some statistics that says crime on Peachtree Street happens between the hours of six to the most crime happens on Peachtree Street between 6 to 8, right? So a person
Okay.
who's running for mayor or police chief says, okay, hey guys, what we're going to do is we are going to increase the presence of police between the hours of 6 to 8, right? And so naturally, crime is not going to happen. So then the person who's running for office comes out with a stat sheet. Ever since I've been in office, crime has gone down between the hours of 6 and 8, the worst time in Peachtree City, right? And so that's quantitative. You could look at it. This percentage went down. But
Mm-hmm.
qualitative is like, okay, well, did you look at survey the rest of the time slots to see if crime increased? And so if crime stopped between 6 and 8, that means the criminals know that the police are out there. As soon as the criminals leave, I mean, as soon as the police leave at 8 o'clock, then all of a sudden the criminals come out, and now between the hours of 8 to 10, there's more crime. Qualitative
Right.
looks at that approach like, well, that's a phenomenon called displacement of crime. And
Okay.
so, but like I said, if you don't know what's going on, like most people don't, you come in the first day and you have to declare whether you're going to be a qualitative or quantitative person. But they give you that first semester to take intro to qualitative, intro to qualitative, right? And you can take both of them.
Okay.
So most music studies are quantitative, where you're because it's really like math, right? So man, I took that first quantitative class, and quant one. I took it. It was during COVID, so that means we were not face to face. This was an online class, and the person teaching the class was from another country. So she would say she was very knowledgeable, but she was like, "The variable." I said, "Variable." I rewound the video. I said, "What is a variable?" I'm on Google looking up what variable. What is a variable? I was like, called my brother up because Don is a math major or whatever. I said, Don was a math major. I said, what's a variable? He's like, man, is that person from another country? It's like, yeah. He's like, they pronounce V's with a W sometimes. I said, oh, a variable. I'm like, and it did hurt a grad assistant. He would come on there. He's supposed to help out. He's like, oh, she's so great. She's wonderful. Just like she explained it. That's how you should do it. And I'm like, I am thoroughly confused. So I dropped that class. I was like, no. So Dr. Norgard's like, hey, I would like for you to really take a quant class because most of the music studies are quant. So I was like, okay. So I let another semester go by. I said, me, I like to take on challenges. I'm gonna get this quant
Mm-hmm.
class.
Mm-hmm.
I signed up for it. We were back face to face. They still had it online. It was still the same professor. So I had the book. I had the software. It was IBM SPSS statistical software, right? Man, I'm starting to get it. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm studying for the first quiz. Bruh, it's killing me. As
Okay.
soon as I finished that first quiz, we got a midterm exam. I was like, what? I just did this. Man, I dropped that mug again. I'm like, no. I said quantitative is not for me. But it was my learning style wasn't set up for I like to ask questions. Like if as soon as I figure out I need the clarification, I need to ask a question, right? And it was
Okay.
important to me to get the best. Like I've never got anything lower than an A in my grad studies classes, right? In the doctoral class. Now, that's not to say it's at this point of our learning that it's hard to get an A. It's actually quite easy to get an A because most of your stuff is writing and discussion and stuff like that. But it was
Right.
important to me that I wanted to get an A out of the class and not fail a class or not get a C or whatever.
Right.
So that's how I went to quant. But I mean, sorry, qualitative studies. So the first thing you have to do is make a decision based off of. It's like asking you to take the red pill or the blue pill in the Matrix. What is it going to do? Let me. How do I make that decision? So yeah, it's a. But every day you kind of question some things, and I think after I finished, getting to the coursework for your comps, I started understanding some areas of methodology. Well, it was really weird because we talk about induction and deduction and those type of reasoning and those kind of things, and that came naturally to me. I was like, oh, I can understand deduction and induction, and now there's abduction as well. But those terms that some people struggle with, I was pretty cool with. I said, okay, I can understand that. So I started turning the corner, but um, when you get to go do your dissertation, you usually start doing your dissertation after you finish your coursework. And everybody, if you gotten your doctorate degree, you're writing every week. You're writing
Mm.
20-page paper. So, and it's getting you in the habit of writing sections of the dissertation, which is maybe 20 or 30 pages per chapter. So a dissertation may range from 120 pages to 200 or something or even more. My dissertation is 187 with the appendix and with the reference section. So
Wow. Wow.
yeah, so that's a lot of work. But once you get out of the framework of writing every week, and they say, okay, after you finish all your coursework and you pass your comps, your comprehensive finals, then you can go and write your dissertation and do your study, and they give you up to 7 years to complete that. So when you have in your head, oh, I got 7 years after the 2 years it took me to get through the coursework, I got 7 years to
Mhm.
complete it. Well, you stop writing every day. And so it's the game of, man, when do I feel like writing? And it's a
Ooh.
discipline of like, I gotta write no matter what.
That's
And
I
I
was just gonna
think,
say that's
yeah,
is that where the self discipline? That's where the self
oh
discipline
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
kicks in. It's like,
I
mm,
find that the people who get their doctorate the fastest are the ones who are super organized and methodical. Like they are like, they know how to silo different things and stuff. And those people, I'm not saying that they are the best candidates for creative writing or creatively finding a gap in the research, but they are more apt to finish it quickly because they are super methodical when they do things. And if anybody knows me, I am not that. I'm very spontaneous, right? And so my wife is very organized, and I have a organized chaos. So I know where everything is, and I'm definitely a process person and not a goal oriented person. So that's
mm,
like the perfect storm. A goal oriented person would be like, I'm going to finish pages 1 through 5 this week, and then I'm going to, by the time I reach week 4, I would have the whole chapter 1 written. That's not me. I can't set that goal because I definitely got to go through the process. Like when I'm feeling inspired, or like when you're writing music, it's the same thing. You have to sometimes be inspired to write, right? Do you feel that way when you write music or when you compose? It hits you all of a
yeah,
sudden and you have to do it, or you're the type of person, I'm going to compose something a little bit every day and then turn it into a song.
no, because I mean, and I've read a lot on just my heroes and
Mm-hmm.
hearing, you know, and there's varying degrees of no one has the same process. Some guys it was a job. They just felt like,
Right,
hey, I don't care if it's terrible. I'm gonna put something.
right,
I'm gonna
right,
put something. Down.
right.
Other people, it was definitely more of a either an inspirational thing or, they were waiting for that to enter them before they could put it down. I always find that I'm always better in crunch time. You know, when something has to be done. I mean,
Right,
I can
right,
get out in front of stuff too. I do. I'm
right,
okay at that.
right,
But like certain things, it's like I'm better. I'm better in the crunch.
right, right, right.
That's just when it kind of comes to me. But so let's talk a little bit about your what you settled on as far as what you got your degree in, which I think is it's something that as we already seen is going to be used quite quickly
It's right.
uh,
By some other
in certain
parties, possibly.
yeah by some other parties. So how did you settle on your subject?
So, Dr. Nargard plays jazz too, and I've worked with him on some studies. Before I even decided to get my doctorate, I was a recruiter for his study. So the first study I worked with him was a study called the tapping study, and it's really kind of cool. It's like we got recruited piano players. I think we had 20. So if you think about it, somebody who's trying to do a research project, they have to interface with somebody who is in that world doing it. And I think it's called snowballing when you find one person and then they recommend other people. That's called a snowballing technique, whatever. So he found me, and he couldn't use Kevin Bales because he used Kevin Bales in his pilot studies, a test subject. So when he used Kevin on that study, he couldn't use any data from that because he was his first pilot study test person. So he needed other people. So I knew all the piano players in town, so I called him up, and he said, "Hey, you might want to try to run this," because he said, "No, I might need you to scrub the MIDI from this thing." So, scrub the MIDI from the stuff, and that was my first introduction into doing research. And he published a paper from it. I was like, it was really really cool. Look up tapping study by Dr. Norgard is if y'all want to look it up. If you want to nerd out on it, go to Google Scholar and look up tapping study, Martin Norgard. So anyway, so he's like, "Hey, I got another project coming up with for jazz and stuff." He says, "I would love for you to recruit, but I would also, since you're good at Pro Tools and Logic and all that kind of stuff, I would love for you to help me run the experiments and stuff." I said, "Okay." And so I got um, credit on that paper, which was really cool for working and doing the stuff with that. So I got involved with that, and he asked me what I was interested in. I said, "Well, I see a relationship between embellishments and and choices of notes to syntax and language." He said, "Oh, that's interesting." So he's like, "Well, you need to look at corpus studies because corpus has a repository of piano, I mean, of transcriptions where you can search it and see. So if you indeed want to do a study about the relationship between an enclosure or looking at it as language, you can use this software called Dig That Lick. There's another software called AntCop, which is more of a statistical kind of software, right? And you can look at it's both by the same people who created it.
Mhm.
So, man, I looked at it and he said, you can search the database just by putting in some melodic intervals. I said, okay. So I looked at it and it aggregated the score, it aggregated the MIDI file and the audio file. And I said, wait a second. I was like, I could use this in education. And so when I talked to him about that, he said, well, you just found a gap in the research. He said, you got to do a literature review to see if anybody else has done this. And this is the thing, Chris, is like just because we have an original, we think what we think is an original
Right.
idea may
Right.
not be. So you have to do research to see if
Mhm.
somebody thought just like you thought, on something.
Mhm.
So fortunately, I saw that nobody else had did that research, used the software for pedagogy. So I was like, cool. Now, here was the hard part. Got to be careful who you tell that you're doing your study because if they take it,
Right.
then I have not found the gap in the research. They do it. So I was real secretive about my topic. And when people would ask me, I'm like, okay, is this person a music person or not? Whatever. So I always remember I had to present you one thing you have to do while you're in grad school is present at a conference. So I submitted my abstract for my study and I was at GMEA presenting, right? So I did a presentation, and Derek Jackson, the trombone player that we know and love, was at the conference, right? And Derek Jackson is an educator and stuff. So I'm doing my spiel about corporate studies and stuff like that. I'm almost at the end. I see Derek Jackson doing like this, right? So
Okay.
I thought I was running short on time. So I said, at this time, can we open it up for questions, right? So people started asking questions. It was cool. And then next thing you know, I was finished. Derek ran up to me. He said, Doc, he said, he was calling me Doc before. He's like, you can't do that with these teachers, bro. He
Right.
said, I see people taking notes and stuff. They about to take your stuff, bro. Don't do it anymore
Right.
like that.
Right.
Stop
Right.
right now. I was like, I said, thanks, Derek. I said, I didn't even know. He said, bro, I saw the wheels turning in their eyes, bro. He said, and so I had a scare last semester where I already wrote the first three chapters of the dissertation. And here's the thing: you're responsible for your literature review up until the day that you defend. Like if there's any new information that comes out and it's
Right.
before you defend, you're responsible for that information. You got to put in your dissertation. So it might not be that difficult, but what you're hoping is that somebody hasn't done the same study that you did, because then you'd have to really alter a lot of stuff, and you'd talk about how what their study did. So man, last semester, last no Gen conference, I submitted to present, and I was denied. And so I'm looking through the brochure of Gen, and I see somebody says jazz and corporate studies. I didn't catch the title. And I was like, oh my goodness. I said, did somebody do the same thing that I did? I said, jazz and corporate studies. I said, oh man, I started panicking. My head started getting hot. I was like, will I have to redo these chapters of my dissertation?
Oh,
And I go and guess who it was? Dr. Nargard. He submitted and he's doing jazz and corporate studies, but not pedagogy. He's doing something else. I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, Dr. Nargard. I was like, that's you. I panicked, man. I was like, I can't believe somebody's doing the same study that I'm doing. And
man.
so, yeah.
Wow.
So,
We got had a comment from our man Vinny D'Agostino. He says, congratulations. He wants to know, can he introduce you with the doctor title now?
Yes, sir. You can definitely do that. There's a little increase in pay since I got that doctor title. Just want to let you know. For the low price.
Put an extra zero. Got to put an extra zero.
I'm not gonna hurt him that much. Put a little $19.99 on
okay,
there.
Okay.
A little information. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
But yeah, no, definitely. I see why people are so into saying "call me doctor." I don't want to be that guy, but there's a lot of blood and sweat and tears for it. So it's kind of surreal because people started calling me doctor today and Dr. J, which is I got to get used to.
So, I didn't even think about that one.
Yeah, not Julius Irvin, but some of these kids don't even know who Dr. J really is. So
Dr. T.
Dr. T would be cool. Yeah. So just getting used to that. It's really surreal because even that day, I felt like it was a trick. It was like, are they really giving me this thing or not? And then after I reflected later on, like this morning, I finally slept really well, even though I still woke up at 5:30 this morning. Because, we were on that tour with Carla.
Mm-hmm.
I was up in the morning working on stuff, and we had gigs and stuff like that. That's what it is. Oh, look at my boy. Can I show that right there? Look at my
He already hitting you up, man.
Bro. I just got conferred on Monday, bro. You know that paycheck don't work that fast, bro. And higher, Ed. Come on.
Pat from New York. He don't care.
Pat is a hustler. He need to be loaning me some money,
Pat
bro.
from New York, man. Pat in New York, man. Pat
is everywhere, man.
Nah, man.
Thanks, Pat. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks, Tia. Yeah. So, man, that was it's crazy. I think that you have to start believing in your skill set and believing, and also take criticism. And one thing as a musician, as a jazz musician, I mean, that's something we do. We're in the studio. It's like that doesn't work, so you move on. Other people, sometimes it's hard for them to think about moving on, and that's assassinating their character or their intellect. But for us, we're like, okay, what do I need to do? And that Possibility albums by Herbie Hancock, when he did that DVD of the making of it, man, it was one of the best things in the world. I don't know if you remember.
I do.
Herbie was struggling with something. It was a Lionel Luiki tune. He was struggling. And I'm like, Herbie didn't have to put that in the video, but he did. And I'm glad he did, because I was like, if Herbie struggles, that makes me feel a little bit better about myself that, I can struggle and accomplish something too. So.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's what you want, is to constantly be challenged,
Right. Right.
So that's just, it's great, man. The, with you sort of getting to the finish line though. Right. So you can see it. You can see the finish line, man.
Yes.
And stuff starts popping up. Like,
you get setbacks.
All right, here we go again. here we go again, man.
Yes.
Here we go again. So, 2 steps forward, or 1 step forward, 2 steps back. 1 step forward, exactly 2 steps back.
Yeah.
So mentally, how did you deal with that? Because you're still, man, you're working at the university, you're still playing gigs, you got a wife, you got a lot, so how did you balance mentally, all these things, how did you do that?
Oh man, it was difficult. I really have to say that was the most intense. My health started suffering. Man, my blood pressure went up. I had so much stress. It was crazy. And then you work so hard, and then to be told no, it's not going to happen at this time. Like you feel like a failure, And I mean, if I'm really being honest, and I'm going to be honest in this moment, it's really my faith that really got me through because it was really 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 difficult, and you have deadlines and technical issues happen, and you're like, man, I'm up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning trying to Google how to do one thing on the computer, and I got a deadline at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you're scuffling, and you have to man up and be like, call your the person, the teacher, the professor, say, or email them and say, I'm not going to make this deadline. And then they have to say, well, if this was the real world and you had a deadline to turn in an article, your article wouldn't be published. They won't accept it. Like, oh dang! So you have the agony of defeat. What's the ABC monitor? The thrill of something and the agony of defeat.
Wild world of sports, man.
Yes,
wild world of sports.
So you just have to take your lumps, and then the setbacks are just what it is. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna plan for it. I'm gonna learn this word that everybody should learn. And it's not a humongous word. It's called no. I had to learn that word. I had to learn to say no. And people got in their feelings. They thought the crazy thing about social media, they can see where you playing at and what you're doing. And I told a person no one time. They said, oh, well, you playing with this person. And I'm like, it's just working with my schedule. Seems like they all working with their schedule. I'm like, and Joe books bands. I mean, Joe books gigs far in advance, right? So it may seem like I'm only taking Joe gigs, but I'm like, I can't get rid of these Joe gigs. They've been on the books for a year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So before I let Joe know, I've already done 26 gigs with him already. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how prolific of a gigging person he is. You probably got dates right now for next year on your calendar.
Yeah.
So telling people no comes with this, they get in their feelings about it. And you just have to say, hey, I'm not trying to. Things will get better after I finish with this thing,
Man, that's a magic word right there.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, and then you're, but then it's like you're trying to balance also what can you take, how much work, because I don't have the bandwidth to be like,
right.
Are there a lot of charts? How hard is this music?
Well,
how many rehearsals you got? Because
I got called for a gig that you were on, and I would have loved to do that gig. And that person asked me to be the MD for the gig. And I said, I cannot be the MD for this gig. I said, I will be able to play piano. And that person told me, what's the fun in that? I was like, what's the fun in that? Just me playing piano? She's like, you're really good at being an MD. I said, okay, but like you said, I don't have the bandwidth for it right now but I have the bandwidth to learn my part and play it and let somebody else be an MD. And she was just used to the pianist being an MD.
Right.
And I told her, I was like, why don't you get this person? I was like, Chris is available. He's a great MD. She's like, I've never had a drummer as the MD before, And so I would say to you guys out there, try a drummer as your MD. You might be pleasantly surprised.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but hey, well, man, the balance, the grind, the whole experience of having to you have to put things in priority, right?
Yes.
It's like, but also you got to make money.
Yes.
So you need to write, you could probably write a book on, on this, but then there's going to be a lot of things so the first advice that you were given where people can't really tell you, do you understand that now, or were you able to process it a little bit more to where maybe you can put a little bit more information into words?
Yeah, I think so. I really had a good teacher on. Well, here's something that happened to me that was I didn't know that was great. I started in the spring semester, so and I wish I knew what this word was, but of what you call it, but the tracking of the program is in 2 year increments. So every semester you have this class that you have to take, which I cannot think of the name of the class, but um, it's a repeating cycle class and has different type topics. So your cohorts is the people that you come into the program with. Well, by me coming in the spring and not the fall, I didn't start with a particular group. So when I came in the fall, the person who was in my class was her last semester of coursework, and it was my first semester coursework. So
Mm.
I was in there with a veteran. So imagine if you're on a bandstand and they put you with a veteran bass player and you're a novice drummer, you're going to learn so much from that person
Mhm.
instead of two
Mhm.
novices coming in at the same time. So
Right.
her last semester was my first semester. And shout out to Dr. Michelle Thomas for taking me under her wing. She just like told me what to do, where to go, and stuff like that. But we
Mhm.
had a class, it was called Intro to Grad Studies or something like that. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. And the first topic was, what are your fears and trepidation about being a doctoral student, whatever. And so, man, I had a lot of fears, but I didn't know what it was and stuff. And so she kind of explained to it, and the teacher gave us exercises to help us figure out what it was. And one of the things she said is everything that you do in class for assignments, write toward your dissertation topic and write towards your interest and be passionate about what you're going to write about because that's the only thing that's going to sustain you is something you're passionate about. So, I didn't I didn't do my topic on social activism because I'm not passionate about that. And so yeah, after being in that situation, then the next cohorts came in and next fall, and then we were all together. And that I just had one more semester than they did, so came up with them, and they were a little bit younger and also new. So I was able to share some of the information I had with them. But we were really all in the same boat, so it's really. I can't remember what your original question was. If you could refresh it, I could see why I said what I said.
No, I was just wondering if you had, the when you were asking for advice on what is this? How do I? Because I
Oh
remember
yeah,
you talking to our friend Faith,
yeah, yeah,
Faith Harris, and you
yeah.
telling me, you talked to Faith, and you asked her, you were asking her for advice. She's like, I can't really give you no advice,
Just what she said. But I'll tell you what Faith did do. So she first thing Faith asked me, "What's your what research method are you?" I said, "Well, I'm qualitative." I said, "What were you?" She's like, "I mixed methods, which is a combination of quantitative and qualitative." I said, "Oh." So what she did was she's like, "Well, I got some books for you." So she gave me a box full of books on
Okay,
on research and all that kind of stuff. So she was really, really instrumental in helping me with that.
okay,
But just the telling about what it is, she was like, "Well, I can't really tell you what it is." Now I understand why, because everybody's topic is different.
okay,
So um when I chose my research, I can't say it's going to take 1 year because the methodology I use, if I use case study, it would take way longer. And it's a whole different thing. So the biggest advice I got was don't compare yourself to others because their research is their research, their timeline is their timeline. So if you're going to have a tendency to get jealous if somebody graduates before you who's right next to you look, it happened to me last month. They sent out an announcement, right? When you defend your dissertation, whatever, it's 30 days before. Man, this girl that came in maybe 3 semesters after me, she was defending her dissertation. I was like, oh my goodness, how did she beat me? And then I had to remember your journey is your journey. It's not the same situation.
hmm
So I just
hmm
gave her kudos and I was like, yeah, good, great. I know how this is.
right.
But yeah,
All
man,
right.
I have a question. I mean, Brian has a
We
question
got
for
some.
you.
We got some questions. So there's a
Okay,
couple in
good.
the let's go kind of in order.
Yeah.
So
Then I have a question
so
for you.
so this young man here. Um, I think you might know who this is,
He
but
made it out to the thing too. Thank
he
you,
was
John.
looking lost. He was looking like we saw him on the. He was looking for the 75 building, dude. He was looking lost, man.
You
I
looking
felt so
lost. You
bad.
found it, right?
But we were looking for a parking spot, so I couldn't help him
Right.
because I was looking for a parking spot.
Every man for himself.
I saw him like just walking around. He was looking at his phone, like walk, man. It was funny. But
Yeah.
so our good buddy John Harris, he wants to know: do you feel your playing suffered at all during this period of getting
Yeah,
your
yeah.
doctorate?
I think it did.
Okay.
But at the same time, the outlet that I had to play music, you know how it is, man. Monday, I was ready to play at Napoleon's, bro. When we
Right,
did
the
our first
release.
tour, yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely released just to
Hmm.
get into something because John, this is a music education degree that we're not doing any music at all. I don't know what my other cohorts could do if they
Wow.
didn't if they didn't send me a clip of what they did playing wise, which none of them did. I didn't know they could play. In fact, they didn't know I could play until Dr. Nargard asked me to demonstrate something in the cognition class about improvisation. And he was about to play the piano. It's like, I feel bad playing in front of you, Tyrone. So will you come up and play? I wanted to slide on the radar. I didn't want nobody to know that I
Right,
played.
right,
So then when
right.
I played, it's like, man, you're great. I'm like, guess what? All my friends can do just what I just did, you know. But
All right.
but
Well,
not to say I'm
cool.
not great. But yeah, yeah, I
All
think
right.
it did suffer. So I'm
It did
looking
suffer.
forward to having time to shed on some stuff I want to shed on.
All right. Then we have a question in the private chat.
Oh, but also great, so
Oh,
it doesn't matter. So,
all right. Mr. Falgu wants to know, and this is something I was curious about. He said,
yeah,
tell us more uh,
what happened?
about the defense. Yeah. So after we left out of the room, so if you weren't there, so they had Tyrone in this small. It was a small room, but there was maybe I don't know 20 people maybe in
30. Well,
there,
first
which
day was
which
30,
doesn't
we're
sound
breaking
like
it
a
down.
lot,
Say 30, yeah.
but it is in this room because the committee was there as well as and then people were kind of behind the committee and then kind of on the sides. So
Yeah.
they asked us to leave after he did his dissertation, which took about maybe 35 minutes, 40 minutes or something like that. And then they asked us to leave so that I guess they could grill him some. So what happened after we left?
Hey, what's Burger King had they do their whoppers on the grill? I got grilled. Now, so what happens is all right, so 30 days before I defend, I have to turn the dissertation in to the department chair, and they okay whether we can go forward or not. So once they okay it, then 15 days before I defend, I got to send my dissertation to my committee. Now, my committee has probably read my work before, if it's the same committee, and usually it is when I defended my prospectus, which is the first three chapters of the dissertation. If you guys don't know what a dissertation is, it's basically Georgia State's format is 5 chapters. The first chapter is your introduction to your research, which is basically the problem and your purpose for doing it. So first of all, you got to find what the problem is or where the gap is in the research, and then tell you why you're doing this. What's the purpose of this? Then your second chapter is a literature review. You look at everybody who's done research that leads up to your research and the pros and cons of it, right? This person did this, this person did that, this person disagreed with this person. Therefore, this is why I'm doing this because I found that there's a gap in the research. Then your third one is picking a methodology. How are you going to view this information, right? So I can explain that real quick. The way you look at something is can be two things based on two people looking at a situation. For example, if if a person had two kids, right, and they mistreated one kid but loved the other kid, later on in life when they get older and write a book about their father, one person might say, "Oh, my father was a great dad. He did it. He did all this stuff." The other one's like, "My dad was a horrible dad." So who's right?
Mm-hmm.
Both of them are right. You just have to look at the lens that they're looking through. Now, here's the thing: once the child that was treated well reads the manuscript of their other sibling and say the dad was horrible to them, they have to make a choice. Is that person telling the truth, or was he both things at the same time? Which might mean my dad was a horrible dad, that he treated my sibling a different way. So, looking at things through a lens is really important. Give you another example: Hot Tub Time Machine, that movie that came out. As a black person, or even a Jewish person, or anybody who's been oppressed, how far can you go back in time where you could do something? Like, if I was an affluent white American, I could probably go back to the 1600s. But maybe as a black man, I can only go back to 1967 in the South.
Right.
And I'm pushing it there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the lens that you look at things is really important. So your methodology is all about how you decide that you're going to look at the data. Then once you do that, then they approve you to do your experiment with them. So I had to get quizzed on, well, did your methodology work out? What did you find? Why did you use this methodology? Do you think your data is skewed because you did this? I said, why did you do this? So I got all these questions about, hey, so when you had your students in the class, you talked about teacher bias. Do you feel that the students were influenced by what you taught? So then now I have to tell them about what measures. Now, the stuff is in the dissertation, but they want to make sure that understand that there's something called teacher bias, and there's a power dynamic and researcher bias too. And what measures did you take to deal with that? Because you have to figure out why your data, you're going to have data from it, but is your data good and consistent, you know? So fortunately, I knew the answer to that. I used a method called triangulation and member checking, where after I finished writing up the transcripts and doing my interpretation, I sent it back to the participants to reread and to change whatever they wanted to change, you know, to see if that I was correct. And most of them were. And then somebody said, hey, you didn't get this right, so would you change this? So I had to change it. So that's how you verify or validity of data, by doing that. Then the other part is, well, why did you write this? And then Dr. Vernick asked me questions about the software itself. I was like, I thought you're going to try to grill me. He's like, let me ask you another question. Can you say if you play trumpet and you look up another solo, will it play?
Just as an example. Just as an example.
Just an example. And let's say if you want to create a class from this, I was like, oh man. But it's really cool. And then they asked me, well, what changed this way? So it was they did grill me a lot about a lot of technical stuff. So that's what I was most scared of. But I think I answered pretty well, except for the last question. I didn't do a good job at all. So I was really scared when I came out that room. They kicked me out. I'm like, well, I have to do another semester of this joint right here, you know? So.
But do you think I'm sure there was some things in that they were trying to trip you up on some stuff, because
right.
That's just probably, you know.
I think I held my own up except for the last thing. And that was a tough question. I didn't think I answered correctly, but obviously I did okay because they called me back in. And I was like, right. Hopefully it's a good sign they called y'all all back in.
It was so funny, man, because the dude, he came, Dr.
Freer.
Yeah, he comes out. We're all kind of like, you know, we were all talking, and he came out and we got kind of quiet, you know. And he goes, we'll have you back in just 1 minute. We just make it. He was like going to like a copy machine or so, making a copy.
Yeah. Well, that was Dr. Norgard first. He came out. He's like,
well, he came out, but that didn't. I kind of, I just there too. I was like, yeah, but it was when it, but this, it was when the other, came out, that's when it was like you just felt like, yeah, we was like, what happened? You're coming in back in just in 1 minute. And I was like, oh no, okay,
the pressure. But it was so good to have y'all there, man, because people was like, I could hear comments like, man, they better make sure he a doctor, man. We're gonna right up in here. Like, I was like, y'all getting ready to fight? You know what I'm saying? maybe I became a doctor because they looked like it was an angry mob out there. You know
I
what I'm
thought,
saying?
well, I thought some NO cats was coming up, man. That's what I was waiting for. I was like, I know he got some cousins or something that's
Right,
gonna be up in here making just to make sure everything goes as planned.
right,
We won't
right,
need no
right.
surprises today, you
Don't
know.
need any surprises today, man.
You
So
know.
yeah, so that happened in the room. It was an extra special grilling that I got in there, you know. But I think I held my
Uh,
own. I held my own as much as I could in there.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
You
I got a
know,
question for you though, and it
all
Fat
right.
Blue, if you wanted to chime in.
Okay.
I've been dealing with this research for like 4 years, basically, and leading up to that point. What was it like for you guys? Like, what what was it like for y'all? Because I know it's a lot of jargon, a lot of stuff, but I would love to hear your viewpoint of what you thought as it was going on. Because nobody tells you what a dissertation defense is, right? Did you know what a defense was going into it?
No, I just, man, I tried to just really like, you know, if you wanted to talk about it or if I maybe asked some questions, but I didn't want to like be um another pressure system. You know, I think
Right.
everybody kind of just, um wanted to be a little bit just kind of hands off and honestly, man, I mean, I was just excited to learn anything that you wanted to share. I didn't really because I was like, you still don't really know what a P. I still don't really know. It's like, okay, you get your doctorate, you get your PhD. Does that make you like a ex? Is this a ex? Like, what makes somebody an expert in a particular in a particular field or in a particular subject? Because I know some cats that got some PhDs and some other stuff, but they didn't go to school for it. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it was interesting to get firsthand information, man, from you about just like all the things um, that you kind of had to do. I don't know if Brian has any other. You can write it
In the,
in the chat or
and
whatever.
Brian,
But
we're talking about before you left. I know you had to go to work, but like as the presentation was, because you saw the whole presentation, Brian. So it was just like about 30 minutes of presentation. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, you
but
saw it.
that's curious because um, a PhD is really just research. You know, you're doing
Oh,
research
right.
and you want to add to the body of information. So whatever you publish, and here's the other thing: once you publish something, somebody can challenge your ideas and stuff, and you can they have fights, man. They have actual literary fights, and people going back and forth, right?
That's right.
And they say, no, my theory is better than yours, and this is the fallacy in your theory. Then the person comes back and says, if you ever want to look at one, look at Bennett Reamer, and he talks about aesthetics in music. And there was a guy named David Elliott challenged his position and says, no, it's more about doing it rather than appreciating it. You got to do the music. You got to actually be in doing the music.
Mm,
So he tore up Bennett
mm,
Reamer's book in 1995, and that changed the course of music education, music matters and stuff like that. All that was derived from David Elliott. Well, Bennett Reamer published a book in 1998 rebutting what David Elliott did. Then David Elliott rewrote another edition, and then we call it the schism in music ed. Then all these factions, everybody who was pro Reamer, they started writing, and everybody was pro Elliott, they started writing. So it was like WWE, man. It was like wrestling around this bad boy, you know. So just because I write something doesn't mean I can't be challenged. And some people could show up at your conference and say, "Hey, you're teaching this, but what about this?" You know, and you'd have to debate those
dang,
questions. Yeah.
dang. All right, we got a couple other comments and then another question. Rich says basic idea of your project was very clear and exciting for how it can be used in education. I thought so as well.
Thank you, Rich.
And then Martin, how you doing, Martin? Good to see you. Good. Thanks for coming in. It says good evening and congratulations, Tyrone. This is an awesome accomplishment, and I bet you're feeling great.
Yeah, I feel
So,
like a big weight is off my shoulders, but thank you for that.
All right. So, and then our good friend Bill Hatcher.
Oh, you used Dr. T, great accomplishment.
He's-
Now my question: how do you honestly and realistically feel about the future of music education in light of the current music environment, and also factoring in AI, making it such that curriculum in music ed could be radically changing? Love you, my friend. Thank you, Patch. Uh,
Mm,
it, if I'm being honest, it's scary.
good question. Good question there.
I'm. This is why I'm scared, Bill. Is because AI is killing these kids, man. AI is playing better and composing better and arranging better than these kids. And so you got to think about what AI is doing. AI is being trained by the music that came before them. So all the grooves, all the stuff that's been in history that we know and love for whatever reason, AI is saying, okay, this is why this song is good, or this is why this riff is good, this is why his bass line is doing. So AI is doing exactly what we tell our students. We say the answer is in the music. The answer is in the recording. The only thing that AI hasn't been able to do yet is do something new. It can always do something in the style of, it can create something based
Right.
off of or template or rubric. But I think me and Chris was talking earlier, maybe a couple of episodes about how you have to get them while they're young. And so if you get these kids while they're young and let them know, hey man, uh, you're faster, you're smarter than a computer. If a computer could do this, you could do this, but you're also have ingenuity on your side. So I think if we can get them young to thinking, and if we can get convince our culture to believe that a real human playing music is important, I think we'll be all right. I think the task is not even the education part of it as much as, I mean, it's not the teaching theory and teaching all the other things as much as we have to teach the value of a real person constructing something like music or creating art. And that's something that other countries do better than us. But I guess buy-in is the most important thing. But I think we're in trouble if we don't place a value on it, on performing and playing live and playing music.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Um, I always go back to listening, getting them to to the value of listening, right? The value of and the enjoyment. Just like you said, you get them young. Um, I remember one time we had my little niece and nephew over here. They must have been maybe 7 or 8 at that time. We were
Mhm.
making them some tacos or something, and I put on Kind of Blue,
Oh, wow.
and just put it on as some background music. But uh, I kind of had it in the back of my mind to I wanted to see what their reaction was, and the great thing about that record um, is everything is a hook, right?
Right,
Everything is a hook, everything is a melody, everything.
right, right,
So within, you know, once Miles' solo starts, they're kind of singing along with it, you
wow,
know, because there was a whatever the intro and the bass line established in their brain was something they could follow,
right,
which is really what the beauty of hip hop is.
right,
It's now you don't have to be a PhD genius to understand what's going on.
right,
So with certain types of music, and especially if you're going to introduce people or kids to um to jazz, that's a good place to start because everything is so singable, and which is
right,
what even in our greatest music, the music that we love, well, it doesn't really matter what the genre is. I was
right,
talking to someone we were talking about guitar players and how everything has just turned into gymnastics, just like all the instruments, drums, and just, everything is the Olympics and gymnastics. Right. And the great songs that have guitar solos that you can sing, is what people are always going to go back to, man. And as much as we love very challenging and crazy music, is that really what we listen to for enjoyment? Not really. You know what I'm saying? You're going to put on something else if you just really trying to just enjoy. Are you trying to drive, or you don't want to be thinking about that? So that's one thing that I think, man, is when you're it's like, that's a good place to go, because kids they can hear it and they can get it.
But what you've done is you already started educating them to have a better ear to listen to music. Mm-hmm. And I remember, do you remember the first time you had like a kinder concert or something at your school where the professionals came to your school and played? Mm-hmm. That was inspiring me to see somebody do something like that. And I was already playing clarinet and stuff. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. Yep. And just being witness to that. That's why so many church musicians, like, you wouldn't turn away. There's a couple of kids that are drawn to the drums at church, Chris. You know it. They come to you the drum set every time. Mm-hmm. And you do a great job not turning away. But what if you turn them away? He said, man, get away from me, kid.
Right.
But that one little kid, man, he's crying that he can't come by the drum set. Mm-hmm. His brother is holding him back. And he got on your lap one time, was trying to play, and they don't think that you're a kind, gentle person sometimes. You know what I'm saying? They think you're just a hardliner. Yeah. But man, you took time with the kids. You don't know what effect that's going to have on that kid for the future. So,
we had, just as, we used to have, even in like the middle school, where they would have these things that were called rec nights every Friday, and there would be just local bands playing. Man, that was the greatest, one of the greatest times in my life, was going and watch. And these, now that I think about it, these guys probably weren't much older than us. They probably either in high school or maybe just out of high school. So you're talking about 16, 17, 18, 19, but to watch them play, and it's just a cover band, but they're playing some of your favorite music, and you start to be like, man, I could do that. I want to do that, So
so if people stop doing those performances like that,
but I think and that's, I think, going back to what that's what kind of Bill was asking about, was with AI and with how music is sort of being presented now. Kids aren't really experiencing that because they don't see it. You don't even see it on TV anymore. It's all, everything is a contest, or, The Voice, and who's going to win. Everything is turned into a competition.
Well, you
not in a good way.
You're right. Look at the Food Channels Network. Yep. How many is it actual instruction about cooking?
Right.
Most of it is competition shows.
Man.
So it's not a lot about, let me show you, like, it's not Julia Childs. Let me show you how to mix
in a garden. Yeah. You think of those, even Emerald's show, man, was so killing.
Right.
He had the entertainment, he had the music, Doc Gibbs, he had cats on the gig.
Right.
And he's teaching you whatever recipe is going on, but everything has turned into that's just, man, everything is entertainment, man. It's like entertainment is first. That is, college football playoff. I didn't want to have to go there, but no, I'm not going to go there tonight. All right.
You haven't touched on it at all.
I went a little bit in the front, but we're gonna leave it positive tonight. We're gonna leave it positive. But if everything is, it's just people still have the urge to learn, and they want to earn their way in. They want to. There's nothing like that, man. If somebody said, yeah, okay, if you said, yeah, I'm gonna do my doctorate, they're like, oh. Well, just sign this piece of paper here. You'll give your doctorate. Not that you wouldn't do it, because you probably be like, okay, but then it's like, where, what is that? What has that done for you? Nothing.
Right.
So
It was very important for me, and I can't say it's cheating because the tools are there, but for me, it was very important for me to write my own words, despite the scrutiny, despite the rejection. Sometimes I could have used AI to write my whole dissertation, and the
wow,
temptation was there.
bet it was.
Oh, people were telling me, all you got to do is this. I had somebody give me all kind of things that I could do. And boy, that temptation was like, yeah, yeah.
Press a button, you've
Oh,
been
bro,
done.
I would have been done, bro. But that grilling I got without y'all, if I didn't write that, I'd have been in trouble if I didn't know what I wrote, because
Right,
they read the dissertation too. They had 15
right,
days and they
right.
read it. And I have one I can show you right now. One advisor, I don't know if y'all can see that. She gave print. Oh no, background thing is messing up. But anyway, this is a whole book. That's my dissertation. She wrote edits on the whole thing. So if I didn't know my words, she sure did. You know what I'm saying?
Was that
She
the
knew
one
it.
sitting next? Was that the was she sitting? Was I sitting next to her?
She was in the middle with glasses, I
Oh,
think.
she's in the middle. Okay, the one in
Yeah,
the middle. Okay, okay,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, you were sitting next to Dr. Y. Yeah.
Oh,
We're
okay,
doing.
okay, okay.
She's a linguistic
Yeah, that
person.
one in the middle, dude. She was. That might have been because Brian was talking about, man. Somebody was making some notes on
Oh,
you,
she was
man.
right. No, she was right.
She had the bro. She
Open
was
the
looking.
book up,
She had
bro.
the
Me, bro.
glasses. She had
Yes.
the little the chain with the
Yes.
glasses looking over. I was like, oh man, that's gonna be the one right there.
She was the
So
first
that's
person to ask a question. No, Doc was the first person. Verdict was the first one to ask a question. Then his question was like kind of nebulous. She opened up that book, said, now on page 35, you said this. That's not actually what you did you? I was like, oh, I was like,
ooh.
well, it changed. I'm going to change it when I get blah, blah, blah. And I told her why I changed it, whatever. She's like, okay,
Uh,
well, let's forward to this page. I was like, wow.
uh,
But she was on it, Jack. I got that whole book of everything from her.
man, yeah, I wasn't messing with her because I looked at. I was like, nah, I ain't messing with her. I ain't messing with her.
And Brian saw it too. Brian's like, she looked like she's taking a lot of notes.
She was taking a lot of notes, dude. A lot. Like
Yeah,
she was fully engaged.
right,
Like,
right, right,
I was looking around, like to really see who was kind of paying attention, man.
right.
She was fully engaged.
Man,
So, all right, man. Congratulations, as young Nick has given you his
thank you,
congratulations
brother.
here.
Thank you. I'll be at Napoleon's. I'll be at Red Light tomorrow night, and I'll be
Yeah.
at
So
Napoleon's
bring my man,
Monday.
yeah, bring my man a gift. We're gonna have some kind of
That's not
celebration. We're gonna set it up.
celebration.
I'm gonna get on the phone with his significant other, man. We're gonna have a throwdown somewhere here sometime soon. So
Is it gonna be
um
burritos and stuff and
I
tacos,
don't
man?
know, man. We gotta figure it out. It's gonna be really whatever you want, man. That's what it's gonna be. So
Well,
whatever you want.
just to tie me over, I could get a little brisket if that's possible.
Good. You could get some. That's
I
right.
could. Oh, look at my boy
Place
gonna
right
do it,
down on Riverdale Road that I can point you to.
bro.
Hey, all right. Just for that, I might have to bring you a little bit tomorrow.
Thank
Even though
you,
I'm
bro.
not on the gig. But
Now I get. Thank you, bro. So you're a good friend, bro.
yes, I might stop through.
Hey, I just want to thank everybody for coming out to support. It made it so much easier.
Yes, that was
I
great.
promise you, if I didn't see y'all, man,
Awesome.
just hugging on y'all and the love and support, it was palpable. I could
Did
feel
it
it.
did it break the tension? I mean, did
Did
it
it?
give you some kind of like
Oh man,
I
a
figured
lot.
that. I was looking, I was like, I
It
bet
did.
this is kind of, you know,
Here's the crazy thing. I did 4 mock defenses, and each one of them bad boys, I was nervous. I was stuttering, tripping over my words, sweating. And then when it got to that one, I know I could attribute to y'all being in the room, man. So it was like that. That just eased everything, and I was able to be my comedic self and clown around and not worry about it. And
right.
seeing people come in and stuff, and seeing people I didn't know was going to show up. you know, it was really great to see everybody and to hug on everybody, man, and
Yeah, man.
see the support. Yeah,
Yes.
that's really the thing that got me through it. I really say so, you know.
Well, cool, man. Well, congratulations. We will we're gonna have like a little soiree here sometime in the near future. And with that, I don't really see any more questions.
Thanks,
Just you can
appreciate you.
give him
Good win.
there's a post on Facebook. There's a post so you guys can get in the comments, and if you didn't get a chance here to drop him a line,
I'll post a video when I'll post a video where he introduced me.
Okay.
Dr. Jackson, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah. And I was gonna post your Cash App on here, man. Cash App, man. Can you drop my man something, man? You know,
you can post it on Tyrone JAY3. I put it on myself, too. Ain't no shame in my game. That was a lot of freaking expensive time.
Yes. So let's see here. Here
if
it
you
is.
want Venmo, it's at Tyrone J. We can accommodate all them bad boys.
Zelle, PayPal, anything you got.
Y'all gonna be sneaky with that Zelle joint. I got,
Yeah.
And I just heard of a situation with a colleague of ours. Somebody deposited $500 in his bank account, and then filed a claim against the $500 and got the money out of it. It's crazy. They got some scams. Yeah.
Man.
Thank you, Dean.
That's the new one.
He has a new one.
That's the new one. How can you file a loss after you deposit?
Well, you find
money.
You deposit money. You say you file against it, get $500 back, but you may get. I don't know exactly how it works. You might get some extra money or have access to the account or something. It's really weird.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna call it a night, and we appreciate all the support here. Like I said, our schedule going to be a little bit sporadic, but we got some gigs, got the holiday shows coming up here on these Tuesdays. Yeah. So maybe we can work some daytime gigs since you off. We can work a daytime gig in every now and then. So
maybe I didn't tell my wife I was off yet, so don't say too much.
Well, she know now.
If I have a briefcase like I'm going to work, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to your house. That's what I'm doing.
Nah, man.
Organ joints, you know what I'm saying?
Man, you need to come break this in. I got the organ at the house, man. Got this buy account.
Beautiful too. She's beautiful.
Hey, I sent Pat a picture today. So
what did Pat say?
It's ready to go. He's like, yes. All right. It's like I'll try to stop in the stream tonight. Say hello to the doctor. So all right, guys. Thank you all so much. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. And subscribe to the YouTube, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Thank you for your support, and we will see you guys next time.